Fellas, another reminder that tomorrow, Tuesday, 10 p.m., we will be doing an election live stream. We will have some friends. We will have some beers. Danny will be we will be raffling off to anyone listening live a week. So you actually win a week with Danny Polishchuk. So we haven't talked about that yet.
Okay.
So they win a week and
they have to stay at my house.
Second prize is a month.
Second prize is a month. Oh.
And then the loser gets a year. So they come, you stay with Danny, you do his chores with him, you watch him do his stock arbitrage opportunities.
Yeah, my AI videos.
His AI videos. You watch him do AI videos for a week straight. That is one of the things you could win. And I will be hitting the road this weekend, Nashville, Chicago, then Las Vegas, Minneapolis, Edmonton, Phoenix, Portland, Tacoma, LA, Irvine, San Jose, Tampa, Salt Lake City, Denver, Atlanta, Baltimore, San Diego. RyanLongComedy.com for tickets.
And I'll be in Hartford, Albany at the beginning of December, DannyComedy.com, and some Canadian dates coming up too.
Let's get into it.
The boys.
It's the Boyscast.
The lads.
It's the Boyscast.
The dudes.
Prepare yourself for Boyscast.
The bros.
It's the Boyscast.
The homies.
It's the Boyscast.
The dudes.
Experience the Boyscast.
The boys. Cast.
Things are heating up. The election season is underway. And you know what? This election has really become a referendum on whether or not you think squirrels should be killed in
raccoons.
And raccoons in cold blood. I don't know about the raccoon. What happened with the raccoon?
They had a squirrel and a raccoon, Fred the raccoon, and then they took Fred the raccoon too.
Are you fucking with me? When did Fred the raccoon come?
That was the whole deal. They took Peanut the squirrel and Fred the raccoon, both of them.
In cold blood?
Yeah, they just picked them up because some Karen on the internet basically ratted on them.
Ladies, they want people eating your dogs. They want people coming in, breaking off squirrels' necks in your face. They come in. The government employees. I'll tell you, I'm on the little bit of that side because I say any squirrel that has a higher view count than me on Instagram, I would like that guy gone.
That squirrel was popping off. I think that's why the lady ratted him out. It was just jealousy.
It is jealousy, but on the same time, I'm watching this raccoon. He's watching this squirrel. I mean, he's got 10 million views. I go, no. You know, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not living in a world where a squirrel's destroying me at content.
Hey, man, that's the world we live in, man.
They want people eating your dogs. They want people eating your cats. They want your squirrels getting fucking, guy breaks in, takes a squirrel, cracks
12 government stormtroopers break down your door, steal your fucking squirrel and your raccoon.
That is always the thing with SWAT, right? They always bust down and then they kill the dogs.
Yeah.
That's like an old trope that they bust down and then
the dog just barks at them funny.
They have to. It's like their favorite thing to do is kill these dogs.
12-pound dog. It just growls at them and they kill it. Were you really in that much danger?
The squirrel. The funniest part is it became like the biggest thing on the internet that this squirrel got killed, and I started looking at it, and then the thing came up. I sent it to you this morning, but they're like, also this guy and he was like doing gay porn and stuff like that.
I know. From what I understand, they do both have OnlyFans.
Well, did he?
Him and the wife.
So is this a family where the guy's like, okay, we're running an OnlyFans, and they start being like, it's OnlyFans to raise money for animals, and people started liking that, and they show the squirrel, and then the squirrel was working. They're like, people that are trying everything. We have friends that are like, he's tried everything, right? Yeah. And you go, he landed on being like a reaction guy or something like that, where it's like he started with this, and then by the end of it, it's like he does videos of guys eating cereal, and for some reason that worked for him.
That works for him, and that's just what he does for a professional.
But is that them? They were just trying everything. They're like, maybe you suck my dick on camera.
I don't know.
And then by the end of it, he's like, they put the they're like, maybe if we find a squirrel, and then by the end of it, they're just like, okay, we're sucking dick on camera. We're doing squirrel videos.
Squirrel videos.
And then you go, the squirrel videos ended up really popping off.
From what I understand, I think they found the squirrel like 7 years ago. I don't know when the OnlyFans started, but then I think they started making the squirrel content. The squirrel content started popping off, and then they started just rescuing animals, and they have an nonprofit animal rescue. And then I don't know how the OnlyFans part, like the top.
The chicken, it really came first, right? What came first, the fucking chicken or the squirrel?
The chicken or the squirrel? Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
the hog or the squirrel?
The hog or the squirrel? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how that works, but it was a crazy overreach of the government. I mean, people don't really care. Like, obviously, the squirrel is more of a. Like people don't really care about this. They care about the squirrel, but they care more just like the government just burst down your house.
You're saying that's why it became a huge story.
Yeah, it's more just government overreach where they're like, the 12 dudes bust down the
And why can't they put it outside? They're just like, well, it's a house squirrel for 7 years.
They did, and it kept coming back injured because it's just like it just
gets beat up by the other squirrels.
Found it as
comes back just like birds around its
It
head.
looks like fucking Rocky Balboa. But they did do that, and because they found it when it was a baby squirrel, they raised it. And so
it's an indoor squirrel.
It's an indoor squirrel.
And they're just like, well, you get bad news. You don't get to have indoor squirrels.
Yeah, the indoor squirrels are
from the
illegal.
top ropes.
Yeah, indoor squirrels you can't own an indoor squirrel.
How do they euthanize it? Do they beat it to death?
Should probably put it in some sort of.
And then the guy's like, do I have to watch this? You're like, hold him in the corner. He's got to watch. He's sitting
No.
there. No. And then they take him in a pillowcase and just fucking go to town. And you're just like,
car battery on the nuts.
well,
They tortured it first.
Well, you saw the thing. They basically, the guy was like, they busted down the door. They like bust down the door and then they like detain him and like as
for
if
5 hours, like a drug raid. It was exactly.
I told you, they did the drug raid on my house when I lived at the old house one time, and the guys they basically did that, and they're like, "Where's the squirrel? Look me, where is the squirrel?"
And they had to escort a police officer had to escort him to use the bathroom or whatever because they were like worried that he'd destroy some squirrel evidence or something.
So what happens? The guy just sits there in the corner?
Kind of. I don't know. I don't know how that works, but yeah, they were like they had to escort him to the bathroom.
You think they think you're gonna flush some squirrel evidence?
Yeah, for sure. They're like, if we hear a flush there, we want to inspect your leavings before. If we see any chestnuts in there, that's gonna be fucking hell to pay.
This is what the article says. It says, Peanut the squirrel touches off social media firestorm after New York officials euthanize beloved rodent. A beloved pet, internet sensation, before New York state officials confiscated it, killed it, drawing more attention to the rodent's death. The State Department of Environmental Conservation, so it's the DEC.
Yeah.
These are the bad boys.
These are the bad boys.
Because you'd think that...
And their whole thing is it's about rabies and rabies is really fucking serious. like people don't get like how serious rabies.
That's
really
their
is.
side of the story.
Yeah, but
you ever seen the videos of the guy with rabies on the internet?
Dude, it's crazy. It's like you turn into like a zombie.
They turn into zombies.
Yeah, it is. Rabies is like one of the craziest.
And they can't drink water. That's the idea, right?
Yeah. And you're like, it is rabies is really bad, but they didn't have rabies.
They didn't have rabies, and these guys were run a business. This guy's the star of the show.
Yeah.
You need some license. This is where it starts, you know what I mean? You know that old thing they say, we're
coming for your kids next.
Well, that's what Trump says. He goes, they're not coming for me. They're coming for you.
Yeah.
You're just in the way.
Yep.
They're not coming for me. They're coming for your squirrels. I'm just in the way. Although I was actually, people have sort of disagreed with this a little bit on their point, but when they say they're not coming for you, they're not coming for Trump, they're coming for you. Trump's just in the way. What actually ends up happening a lot of times, it's they want to come for you. They'd rather come for Trump. They can't come for Trump. They'll settle for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it's like what we really want to do is take Trump down. That's not going to work. So Doug's getting me too.
Hey man. Yeah. I mean, if Trump loses, they're really coming after him.
Oh, for him, yeah.
Oh, buddy, everybody in his fucking orbit is getting it.
Giuliani's last hair is going to be fucking jumping out of his head.
Man, they're trying to fucking deport Elon Musk. They're dude, everybody. The X is getting shut down.
I saw that so crazy. It's so funny for a country too, being like, "Oh, we'll deport Elon Musk," because you're just like, "Yeah, what country is like getting rid of the legitimately the biggest cash cow tax wise in the entire country?"
Well, I mean, again, he's like the companies get to stay. He'll just zoom in to South Africa.
Yeah, but America doesn't have a thing where like you lose ownership if you go back to it. If they deport you,
no, you don't lose ownership. You're just gonna have to run it from a different country.
Yeah, and then pay taxes in the different country.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying though. You go that is the type of mentality where they're like, let's lose, like if we have to lose like $10 billion a year or whatever fucking taxes get paid by him.
They don't care about that.
Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
I think that's it seems like the most important thing is killing the squirrels and getting rid of Elon.
This country will happily lose $1 trillion to send a message.
To send some message of just like, hey, just don't forget who's actually running the show here, who's in charge. Yeah, the Elon Musk thing was basically what they're saying is he came over on like a 01 and then he had a student visa and then he kind of basically did the thing everyone does in Canada where you come over for a student visa and then there was like some lapse where he was working.
He basically like working, right? That's dropped out of school, so then your student visa is instantly null, and then he didn't leave basically, which is what you have to do. It's like if you're not on a student visa, you got to go.
But if a place gives you a job and files your visa for you, then you're fine.
I guess they're saying that in between period he was unvisa. He didn't have a proper visa.
Well, then how were they paying him?
He wasn't. He probably was just here illegally, and he overstayed because you're only allowed to be here for like certain amount of days.
Oh, but then once he got a job again, they did his paperwork again.
Right. Yeah. But they're just saying in between.
Because you're allowed to be here for 6 months, right?
6 months. That in between.
He overstayed his 6-month period.
Yeah.
They're saying.
Yeah. And so that in between period. So then they're like, there is like they do technically can do that where they're like, yeah, you didn't get your citizenship legally, so we'll just revoke it.
But it is one of those things where like if even stuff like that, it's like if Trump wins, for example, then they're gonna have a hard time deporting him because of these boys with the president. And then if he loses, they're just gonna move on and forget about it. So you go, what's the point of this? Just to sort of say like he's bad?
I mean, if he loses, maybe they don't. Maybe they're just like, yo, you
maybe they do send the message.
Yeah, maybe they're like, Elon, you were like, his number one cheerleader this whole time trying to get him elected, putting all these resources into it, and we want to dissuade people from ever trying to do that shit again.
Do you think they do that where they get rid of Elon Musk, they go, you're getting deported, and then as the plane leaves, they kill another ceremonial squirrel?
Oh, buddy.
They crack the head of the squirrel.
Hate to be a squirrel in America under Kamala Harris's
buddy.
America. Ooh. Oh.
It actually would be bad news for squirrels.
Dark time.
I'll tell you what. I thought also it was funny for me to be like, I have my special that just came out, and I started the special with one joke about gay Trump supporters, and that's the only time I mention it. Mm-hmm. But if Trump wins, that joke is equally as relevant. If Trump loses, it's like I have one joke in the special that kind of doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Watching after, because before I would be like, oh, there's Trump supporters. If he was the president, it would literally make no difference.
Yeah.
But if he loses, you go. So that actual collateral damage, if he loses, is my special becomes slightly less relevant if you're watching it right then.
Yeah.
And then Danny's Kamala AI videos. You think you're just going to be? Danny thinks she's going to be the president, and you're just going to be making your Kamala videos.
I'm gonna be fucking in the gulag.
Yeah, but you're sort of better off if she wins because you get to make your AI videos, but you're going to be in the gulags, getting flogged. And you already started to. By the way, I didn't know this about you because then I was reading the article about Danny that they said.
Yeah,
and it kind of irked me. I was like, I was sort of like, I've been hanging out with this guy.
I didn't actually read the whole thing. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, it calls you a liar.
Yeah,
which you are, but I didn't. I didn't realize the extent to which Danny was a piece of shit.
Yeah.
So Danny made this video about Kamala Harris. He thinks it's funny to, make
misinformation.
Danny thinks it's funny to make these misinformation videos.
I do find it funny.
And Danny Polshuk, they wrote this article about him. They go, this post was flagged by part of Meta's efforts to combat false news, misinformation. And he did a video where Kamala Harris was on Rogan and said that he's a Nazi. The comedian, and comedian is in quotations.
Double quotations. I thought that was unfair. 2 quotations. That's not even proper English or anything, but all right.
Originally posted the video to social media accounts. The audio does not align with the video, and the cadence of Harris and Rogan's speech is not true to life. So now they started by saying you're not even good at it.
Yeah. They're taking, all right.
So they started by saying Danny's not even good at it. This is Politifact, by the way.
Politifact.
They've got a hard on for Danny, but
dude, they gave me the worst possible rating. They gave me the pants on fire.
Well, that's when I started being like, I don't know if I should be working with this guy. That was the line. The guy's pants on fire, it says.
Dude, they have a pants on fire meter, and I was on the highest end of the pants on fire meter. My pants, they could not be more on fire.
The Politifact gave Danny the pants on fire reading. Harris has not said Trump is literally Adolf Hitler. We rate the claim that this video shows Harris appeared on Rogan's podcast, pants on fire, !
Pants on fire, I know.
So this guy's pants are literally on fire.
Literally ablaze.
And the thing is, I think that is the world where under Kamala Harris, it'll be like Danny's the pants on fire guy. And that's going to start being attached to your permanent record.
Right. Yeah.
You're going to go in and be like, hey, I want to apply for my citizenship. They go, can we need a fire? It says here your pants are on fire. Yeah. Everywhere you go, they're just spraying you down. And fucking.
You know what? The worst thing about this, which I didn't realize, because the girl.
That's funny because it says here your pants are on fire.
The journalist messaged me, and then I always get back to them because I was like, I just find it funny that they're fact checking me. But then they have a deal. PolitiFact has a deal with Meta, right? So then instantly that fact check happens.
I know.
And then over on Facebook and Instagram, instantly I get a fucking notification.
I hated that part where I read that and they were just like, they casually said in this article, they're like, you know what, we rated Pants on Fire, and obviously we have a deal with Meta where, you know, whenever we tell them what videos to take down, they take down, and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I didn't know about it. And so then instantly that video on I get all these like notifications on Instagram.
Dude, if you get on the
like,
Pants on Fire list,
I am on the Pants on Fire.
I might be
list.
one worse than being on like the what's the like
like the ADL like her.
yeah, you're basically like the 80. There's like the ADL like anti-Semite list or whatever, and I think
which
worse,
I'm also on
are you on that too? No.
soon.
Well, you do get a lot of
Yeah.
people calling you anti-Semitic because of jokes.
Yeah.
But there's that. And then I honestly think that might be a thing where you apply to get a job somewhere and they're like, well, yeah, you're on the Pants on Fire list. I don't know what to tell
Pants
you.
on Fire. I can't believe anything you say in this interview. So sorry, but yeah, they derank the video. The video gets like just essentially removed from the algorithm immediately once they post this. Like, so I got a notification and it's like, if you go to my Instagram page, like there's it's grayed out, or it's like blurred out that video with the Politifact, like it's attached to it now, and they just were like, we're not showing this to anybody anymore.
I know, I saw that.
Yeah, so
I would definitely bet that is very difficult for you to ever, like if you were ever in a court case where you were arguing for yourself, the other guy would bring this up and be like,
big time.
Danny Polishuk says that he wasn't at the gay bathhouse, but then according to Politifact, his pants are on fire.
Pants are on fire by renowned fact checkers. What else is he lying about?
Yeah, renowned fact checkers have said your pants are on fire.
Yeah, so
this is probably the best article of the of the cycle.
yeah. Should we make predictions, by the way?
Yeah, we should make predictions. Also, Johnny, do you mind plugging this in for me? I think I took yours too, but
Yeah, we should probably make a concerning the election.
okay, we'll make predictions at the end. At the end, we're going to be dropping.
Yeah, we're gonna stay tuned, everybody, for our hot prediction takes.
Well, this was the best one because there's been a couple funny ones. I have a funny video of a guy being like, because one of the topics, you know, of the day I want to talk about is like, who has the bigger flip out? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what does the flip out? Because it was the traditional knowledge is like, it's going to be crazy. You know, liberal flip outs are worse. But then, you know, there's January 6th and stuff like that. And you go, right now, I honestly think that they should have a betting market of, you know, what the flip out looks like. But it's hard to ever do that because you're like, you only get to see one. So you could always say the other one would be worse. But the question is, what do you think the bigger reaction is if they lose?
If Trump wins.
You think if Trump wins, it's more of a reaction the other way?
Yeah, well, they're more emotional. The left's more emotional, I think, in general.
Yeah, maybe you could say the right's more organized.
Yeah, the right's more organized. They
have more
I mean,
guns?
there's you know, obviously there's January 6th, but other than that, like, you can't really look to anything that they've really done, like majorly. Maybe Oklahoma City. I don't know.
Yeah,
But,
I don't know too much about it.
I don't know. But
like, okay, let's just say they have like a march to protest that they're not happy, right?
Yeah.
Who, you know, you could easily see a scenario where they do their like version of that, and it's enormous.
on the left or the right, you're saying?
The left feels like it's going to be the bunch of little ones.
Yeah.
But there'll probably be more, but maybe a bunch
Well,
of
they
little
had the
ones.
Women's March in 2016, which was like over 1 million people in D.C.
That's the part that you're missing, right? That, not you specifically, but if the Trump wins, you go, every other thing for the next 4 years will technically be the Trump march.
Yes.
The anti-Trump march.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, they're not going to be happy if he wins, and they're going to be claiming that all these polls are coming out being like she's fucking killing it. So then, that's like a big part of it too. If all the polls were like, oh, she's getting smoked, then there wouldn't be as big of a reaction. But then now they're like, all these. The Iowa poll just came out being like she's up 3 points when he's like, you know, won every time kind of thing by like a lot. So then, if she loses, they're gonna be like, "Oh, this was stolen from us." So they're gonna pull the full Trump deal. Like,
well, they did this huge article, and the Atlantic writes these articles. Which, by the way, I don't know who's reading these things because they're really long.
Oh, yeah.
But this one was fairly popular, kind of went viral. But it's like they write these articles; they're almost books.
Yeah.
You know, it takes like 40 minutes to read. It goes.
You don't go to Columbia Journalism School to write fucking tweets.
Yeah, but like, people, like, what percentage of people read like the headline, and which people read the actual thing?
95% of people read the headline.
Yeah,
Maybe the first
it's like
paragraph.
it kind of seeing an article that's this long in the Atlanta in like about like a current topical news thing, because this, I guess, is a big investigation. It feels a lot like when you see like a TikTok and you did like a 3-hour video and you're just like, are you out of your mind?
Yeah.
Like, what do you think this is?
Part 1 of 40. And you're like, I don't need to do that.
Inside the ruthless, restless final days of the Trump campaign, Donald Trump's aides started to. So I'll just say what happens in it because there's two parts of it. The first part, it's basically this big expose on how his campaign's been like a mess, right? And some of it is they're saying that Laura Loomer, she was going to get involved, and then people were like, "You can't let her get involved," which
I agree with.
And it was a whole
insane.
Lindsey Graham goes, "Are you trying to lose?" What sealed Loomer's fate, according to two people, were parts of these conversations. It wasn't just her racial diatribes, but also her appearance. Trump, who is generally appalled by plastic surgery, was disgusted to learn about the apparent extent of Loomer's facial alteration. So. They have some insider allegedly on the campaign that's like leaking all this information, and then they're saying that his main guy was stealing all these funds, and then they go the other guy was fighting, so he has his two main guys in the campaign, and the one guy's saying the other guy's stealing, and all this sort of stuff, right? Yeah. So it's a big article, but the funny part, and the reason why we're even talking about it, so apparently Trump was in the thing, and he was talking about nicknames that he was going to drop.
Nickname guy.
He's a big nickname guy, and he goes, he has a new nickname he wanted to debut, and then this is Donald Trump on the plane talking.
Big infighting and whether or not to drop this too.
And big infighting whether or not to drop this. So he goes, this is what Trump said allegedly according to the campaign. This guy's a retard. He's retarded. I think I'll start calling him that. Donald Trump declared about on his campaign plane en route to a rally that evening, according to 3 people who heard him make the remarks. Retarded Joe Biden. The staffers present within hours, others who'd heard about the epitaph secondhand, pleaded with Trump not to say this publicly. Trump demurred, musing that he might debut the nickname that night.
Please don't call him Retarded Joe.
Staffers were puzzled over the timing. Biden was on the ropes. Polls showed Trump was jumping out to his biggest lead ever. Over the next several days, Trump aides held their breath, convinced he would debut the latest slur at any moment.
Dude, in terms of he's all about like these clever nicknames, and then he's just going with Retarded Joe Biden.
I hope this is true. That's so fucking funny that everyone on his campaign's biting their nails.
Yeah, they're going, no. This is a misstep, man. Retarded Joe is not going to hit.
I'm going to do it.
It's not going to hit like you think it is.
So he said. Probably there's a realistic scenario where he was kidding, But yeah, the staffer is saying that every day they're sitting sitting beside stage just everywhere. And he goes, and I have a new name for Joe Biden.
He's not just sleepy. He goes, don't say it, please, God, don't say it. Don't do this.
Stop biting the nail.
He probably had it ready to go, and then Tony Hinchcliffe happened. He goes, I can't do that.
I can't. Yeah, he was gonna try. He was gonna debut it that night.
Yeah, he goes, I can't do it.
Well, there's so many funny parts about it. Also funny, the idea that maybe at the end of it, he's done all the nicknames, and now he's just like, fuck it, I'm going for it. Kamala the bitch. Like, you know what I mean? Auntie Kamala. Exactly right.
Yeah.
He's just like, let's fucking go all in.
Yeah, sorry, Johnny. You're gonna have to bleep that out.
Yeah, you have to bleep that. They don't like that. They don't like that word, man. That's one of their main ones they don't like.
No. Not just in fucking Australia or the UK,
And they came to realize something about Trump. He was restless, unhappy, and tired of winning. So their hypothesis here is that he likes it better when there's more chaos. And they said, even in the article, someone said that he came up and he goes, people were saying it was the most disciplined campaign ever. It's like, you don't win with discipline. Like he was saying this was too boring for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's too boring. It's not fun. He likes to live on the edge.
They were saying he likes to live on the edge, and this is a little bit all. It's all just seeming a little too
easy,
controlled, and
yeah,
too
it's
easy.
a bit of a cakewalk for him. He goes, I like to make a challenge, It's
That's right.
David Goggins style, where it's just like, yeah, just drop me off in the middle of a fucking fire. I'm gonna run for 100 miles.
Right. So they were saying, you're up in the polls. It's pretty good. People are liking your speeches. He's like, retarded Joe Biden.
Joe Biden.
Staff's biting their nails at every turn. But if that's true, that's one of the funniest things ever. But it is.
Do you think if he wins, or maybe even if he loses, we get retard Joe? Because there's no repercussions really at that point.
Yes.
Yeah, you think that would be amazing if just like that's his acceptance speech. He goes, they tried to stop me with retarded Joe Biden.
Or if he loses, he gives his I lost speech.
Yeah. I don't think he's gonna have a concession speech.
No,
he's gonna be
just flips the birds.
Well, he's not conceding, so it doesn't matter. He'll concede on fucking January 7th, maybe, but if he loses, there's gonna be another January 6th type deal.
Where they, at the very least, they're going to be debating it for a really long time.
Well, that's when they like have to formalize the actual thing or whatever, and he's not giving it up. There's gonna be lawsuits and everything.
I'll tell you what, because we you know how there's been a lot of Kamala money going into the influencers, which I don't really know if it's helping, because we actually know someone that we won't reference by name.
I mean, the thing is, we probably know people who...
We know lots of people.
We know probably people who just haven't been public about taking some comments.
Well, you have to become public about it because you have to put paid advertising.
Oh, right. That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, apparently you have. If it's a political contribution, it has to be.
Right.
It has to be noted. I think
so.
I think there's some loopholes where maybe they have them. They come from some pack that comes from somewhere else.
Yeah.
But you're supposed to say. And there's been a lot of people that have been making them, and I've been kind of looking at the comments because it'll be like someone that did it, and we know a few people that did Kamala things, and I think the vibe was like, it's offer they can't refuse money wise. You take some guy that's like, he made $30,000 in entertainment, they're like, we'll give you 30 grand to do one ad, and you're just like, fuck. How much is your integrity worth, right?
30 grand.
But every comment is like, fucking chill.
Yeah.
But do we know anyone who's done them for Trump? Like, are they doing that?
No, I don't think so. Trump's like doing a very different... I was just reading...
I don't know anyone who's done
this
any.
morning.
Do people do them? Can you think of anyone?
Not that I know of. Not a paid one. I know a lot of the Polymarket, like if you see a lot of people being like, oh, I just put a bunch of money on Polymarket for voting for a candidate, a lot of those are actually getting paid by Polymarket undisclosed. That's the big rumor, is people are like, yeah, I just put 20 grand on Trump or...
Oh, they're doing the stake thing?
Yeah, they're doing the stake thing, but I guess they're not disclosing it. They're saying, oh, I just put a big bet on Polymarket, but it's actually...
I saw a thing, the Polymarket guy was like, he supports Kamala.
I think so, yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting. You think that if he Polymarket and he was like the election betting guy, you think that guy would want to be like, I don't have a personal dog in the fight. You know what I mean?
You would think so. But I guess he's saying like, what does it matter?
It seemed like a little bit of Sam Bankman-Fried arrogance. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Where the Polymarket guy starts feeling, everyone's talking Polymarket, he starts thinking I'm the king of the world.
I know Kalshi, the other one, the American-based, or...
Kelsey, he just threw the guy's phone?
No. Yeah, Kelsey.
Did you see that?
Yeah. Good for him.
Jason Kelsey. Yeah, you liked that?
Yeah, fuck yeah.
You thought what exactly happened? The guy was in his face with the phone?
His face, and he called his brother and the F slur.
Okay.
Or whatever, and then he just grabbed his phone and just tossed it on the ground.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the classic thing where people think they're on the internet in person. And
big athletes, they're big guys too.
Huge guy, but also you're just like, you think you're like, oh, this is just like, oh, this guy's he's an internet guy. I could just say whatever I want to his fucking face. He's not going to do anything about it. And you're like, yeah, he will.
Well, smashing
he's going to sue him now. And
he's going to sue him. But smashing the phone's an okay one because you're like, I technically kind of didn't get violent. I just threw the phone.
Yeah, I threw your phone and I broke your property and...
Then we move on, I guess.
Yeah, whatever. But I mean, yeah, I like that. But anyways, what was I saying? I forgot.
Polymarkets.
Oh, Polymarket. Yeah. The both of them have been. A lot of people have been running like essentially unannounced ads for them, saying like, "Oh, I just put a big bet on this thing," and not disclosing that. Oh, that's the rumor.
Fuck, I didn't realize that. And you're supposed to disclose.
I don't know if you do need to disclose for that. I guess probably because it's still just like an ad, but I guess depends on the platform. Like like Twitter doesn't require you to say this is an ad, right? Whereas like on Instagram, it's like has an actual toggle.
That does sort of rig it a little bit because it's like you know who it's gonna be when you ask them, right?
Yeah.
Like if you ask a big Hollywood celebrity, like, hey, we'll give you $100,000 to go put $100,000 down. You're like, you know, it's gonna be Kamala. If you ask this guy, it's gonna be this. So you sort of are at that point picking it.
Yeah. So, but I mean, this is what I was going to say. They came out and like Kamala Harris, like Trump has basically had no like ground game, as they say, for politics, where it's like people just literally knocking on your door. Mm-hmm. And Kamala has like an insane one. Like she has like literally there's
you know, there is a little more risk for that though. If you're like, hey, I'm knocking on the door for Kamala Harris, like it's probably sucks. If you're wearing like Trump gear and being like, I'm knocking on your door for Trump, you get the wrong guy. I feel like people will be like, like they start crying.
Yeah, they start crying. But I think you're just trying to be like, hey, we just want to make sure you go vote. Like, period. I guess that's the thing is like just go vote, and obviously we would prefer if you vote for Kamala Harris, but she has thousands of people like daily, just knocking on doors like nonstop all day, and he's got nobody. He's just trying to do the podcast. And Megyn Kelly made a good point where like it is getting a little broy with like how he's trying to, because the thing is women vote more. Like women just like historically, like, you know, there's 10 million more women voters, and he really is just appealing to guys, and you're just like, all right, that is a risky strategy.
Maybe he's hoping that the dudes whip their wives into shape. Because I did my part to get you, you do your part to get her.
Yeah. And like, I mean, with the...
Apparently the canvassing, there, you know, there's an old thing where they go, if someone comes and shakes your hand, you're 25% more likely to vote for them.
Yeah, but Trump can't do that.
No, I'm not saying that, but I think that apparently canvassing has some version of that too, where it's like, if someone comes to your house and talks to you for
5 minutes or something,
or, you know, 30 minutes, you are apparently more likely to vote for them.
Or I mean, there's a lot of people who are probably just not voting, period, and that's maybe the biggest pocket of people who are like, you know, maybe nobody's undecided, but there are people who are just like, yeah, I don't know if I'm going to vote or not. Right, like that's the true
you get them out.
Is people who are just like, yeah, I don't even want to go vote.
Yeah, maybe I'd vote for this person, but I doubt I'll do it.
Yeah, I doubt I'll do it. Right, so we'll see. But I mean, I really could see Kamala winning this.
I guess you go either way.
Yeah. Because just, I mean, my main things are just women don't like being told what. Women are more like, this is maybe from like a first principles kind of deal, but I'm like, women vote more, right? There's more women voters. Women don't like being told what to do. They don't like being told what to do most by men, i.e. like the whole abortion thing. And then now they're like, we're cutting, they got Ron Paul in on it, and they're like, we're going to cut $2 trillion. It's like, women don't like austerity. Women be shopping. Women be shopping and they don't like being told what to do.
They don't.
Those are like
they do not like me. I'll tell you what. I've never dated a girl who loves the idea of like, maybe think about a budget.
Yeah, like a budget.
What the fuck did you just say to me?
Like
I'm being financially abused right now.
Right? So
you're right though. There is a bit of where they're talking a lot about like, we're gonna cut all the spending.
$2 trillion?
They're like, I'm being financially abused.
Yeah, I'm being financially abused. It's like literally, it's like the anti-Women-Be-Shoppin platform. And guys are telling you what to do. And they're like,
women politicians definitely be shopping.
Don't like it. So
you're right. That would be the argument for why they're going to win this.
Yeah.
Because they told women that they're not going to be shopping.
They're not going to be shopping, and no abortions. And
if you go, can I at least you're not going to be shopping for any more wars that you can, cash in on. It's like your shopping spree. We're just going to be frugal for a year. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you can just get the no-name brand.
Exactly.
You're sort of telling girls they can get the no-name brand version of it.
Yeah, for the next 4 years. They go,
what if you just had a purse that was like, what if America just bought like $2,000 purses?
Yeah, maybe we just get a little less out of debt. And they go, yeah, I don't like that. What does that entail?
Well, you're basically telling them this. You go, hey, you know that $5,000 purse? We're thinking you make like a $2,000 purse. You're like, okay, maybe I'll get one of the $2,000, or I'll get one of the China ones that like look like that. But they go, no, we're putting a tariff on the China stuff.
Yeah, those are going to be as much as the regular ones now. So
we actually put a tariff on the China ones.
It's
so you can't really
be like more of a just you're going to wear the old purses for the next 4 years. How does that sound? I mean, you have 50 of them.
That sounds good. You already have enough.
Yeah. Wait, you don't have enough purses? You got tons of purses. Just you'll just wear the ones you've still in the box. Never even took them out.
I think you made a good point that the Women-Be-Shoppin vote.
Yeah, like when you get the libertarians in on it, libertarians aligning with Trump, and then
girls hate libertarianism.
I know, it's like nothing dries up a pussy more than libertarianism.
Why is it true? Girls hate bro podcasters and they hate libertarians.
I know. So, in the event that Trump,
you can neg them with it. I feel like that. The right guy makes it work because it's like it's sort of. Also, girls like a guy that will argue, but that guy has to be like close to them. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah.
It doesn't work on a broad scale.
Like if women start being like, "Oh, Ron Paul's like supporting Trump now," and then he goes, "So what's this Ron Paul guy all about?" And they go, "Oh, no.
No more free stuff.
Oh no." No, we're not doing that.
No more free lunches.
Yeah, no more free lunches. No more shopping.
Fellas, with Robinhood Gold, you don't need a silver spoon to eat up the financial favors of the 1%. Robinhood Gold allows others to get the rates and perks usually reserved for the high society. Now, the resourceful individual with Robinhood Gold can earn the very liberal rate of 4.5% APY on uninvested cash and be rewarded with a handsome 3% retirement boost on an IRA account. Robinhood Gold provides the privileges of a high net worth for any net worth. These generous benefits are now available for only $5 a month. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. Sign up at robinhood.com/gold. Terms apply. For product-specific disclosures, visit robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. Rate may change. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold, LLC. Fellas, notice how the days are shorter, but your to-do lists aren't? Power through your busy days with Factor's no prep, no mess meals. We're talking from breakfast to dinner, anything in between. Factor has easy, nutritious options to keep you fueled and feeling your best. Whether you like routine or you enjoy mixing things up, Factor's got you covered with 35 delicious meals every week and over 60 additional convenience options you can add to your box, like keto cookies, pressed juice, smoothies. Don't let shorter days slow you down. Stay energized with America's #1 ready-to-eat meal delivery service. I've been on Factor for, I guess at this point, it's been years, and it was a game changer for me. It's the quickest thing you can do.
2 minutes.
2 minutes. They're extremely healthy. I take them out, put them on the plate. You know, I do a little bit of a presentation.
Oh, yeah. Ryan's got the little sauces and stuff.
I do a little bit of a presentation. You know, you take it off on the plate because that's how they do it on the site, and I've been doing that. But, and also it's like, I do a lot of like protein meals and stuff like that. So they have whatever you're trying to do health-wise, they have it. They make it healthy. The portions are very reasonable amounts. Factor lets you do it. Choose from 6 meal preferences, help you manage your calories, maximize protein intake, avoid meat, or just simply eat well. Guilt-free comfort foods like home-style chicken and gravy loaded with mashed potato, pork chops. Feel-good vegan options like sweet potato and chickpea curry. Globally inspired flavors like Peruvian shrimp and red pepper cauli grits. So they got lots of stuff for you here. Stay on your A game with quality ingredients, and you can trust the quality you can taste in every one of Factor's fresh, never frozen meals. So what you want to do is head over to factormeals.com/boyscast50. Use the code boyscast50 to get 50% off your first box, 20% off the next month. That's code boyscast50 at factormeals.com/boyscast50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off the next month while your subscription is active. Actually, since you brought it up, I was going to talk about, I wanted to show you this Tucker Carlson clip because it was making me laugh so much. But since we brought it up, this is not an American news. It's a Canada thing, but since on the topic of the Ron Pauls of the world, and remember I did a sketch. Were you in the weed dispensary sketch, right?
I don't remember.
The Trontopia one?
Maybe. I can't remember.
You probably remember that one. We filmed it at CBC.
Yeah. I was.
You were, right?
Yeah,
it was me, you, Jarek, Amish, Rodrigo, Paul. Yeah. And so we did this sketch where it was basically because when Toronto, Candace legalized weed, they basically made a thing where the government was going to start, running the weed dispensaries. Yeah. Like basically because they have, these kind of like government organizations is like the only reason you can buy beer. That's why you can't buy beer in like a store in Ontario.
You can
for
now.
Example. Yeah, I know they're fighting against it, but at the time they were like, oh, weed's legal now, and they're like, we'll have the government run the weed. And the joke we're making is like, and then you have a bunch of like government bureaucrats being like, no, what level of dank should this weed? Is it dank? Am I saying it damp or dank? Because they don't know what they're talking about, right? And I tried to do, and I always thought it was funny because I did that sketch was basically saying the government's bad, and it was on CBC.
Yeah, we were literally wasting taxpayer money.
We were wasting taxpayer money making this sketch about
this fucking big ass boardroom in the CBC. And they're just like, no, like we're literally in there and you're just like giant like bullpen. You're just, nobody's working.
So when
nobody's doing anything.
The funniest part, people talk about budgets always, like government budgets. It's never less, right?
No.
But I remember
they will be under fucking Ron Paul and
yeah. But how it works with the with like all the subsidies for these shows. They have these shows where it's like they do the first season and it'll be let's say they're like, $100,000 an episode or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Then they do the second, it like is a bomb.
Yeah.
And then they make a second series, and then they're like, now you go in and you're just like, well, how much you basically submit your budget. So when I was doing these shows, you submit your budget for the second season, and we did 3. So you submit your budgets, and you're just like, I don't know, like $1 billion. Like you basically just make up how much you want, and you. I think I came in hot the second year.
Sure.
The biggest cash grab ever. And the government just pays it. You go in and no one gives a shit because it's none of their money.
It's none of their money, no.
And then they all like it.
And they got to spend it. There's money
They
that
have to
needs
spend
to be
it.
spent.
So you're like, okay, so you made the last season, every episode was like $15,000. You're like, how much you want for this one? You're like $1 zillion an episode,
zillion?
maybe?
I don't
And they're
know,
like,
zillion?
well, let's meet in the middle. And let's meet in the middle, $70,000,
Yeah, and you go, sure.
So we were, and then then you could rent out their office with their money.
Right.
So we were filming this video about how the government's bad at doing stuff in the government office,
Yep.
paid for by the government.
shit.
And I was like,
That was good shit.
It was, right? But the reason I brought it up,
Sorry, Canadian taxpayers.
aside from that, is I wanted to say, who am I? Ron Paul, and I wanted to do a Ron Paul thing, and they didn't really ever complain too much about my sketches, the wording.
Yeah.
I usually would have a few notes here and there. By the 4th season, the thing was getting big, so they had more people involved. I had to do more phone calls with people
Right.
telling me opinions, and they were always like stupid things, like get rid of this for no reason. But I did one. And I also did this when I was in music, and we had government money for the band, and we in the thing you used to get this thing called Factor, and they'd give you these big grants. And Jarek had a lyric where he goes, "Living large on Factors dough."
Yeah.
Like he had a lyric in the song being like,
Right, and they're like,
we're getting all this Factor money,"
that.
like, and they told us to take that out. But the Ron Paul one, they were like, that was the only note. They were like, "Can you take this Ron Paul line out?" And
Surprised they even knew who he was.
also surprised, but their answer was, the guy goes, "It has nothing to do with
Canada.
Yeah, he said it has nothing to do with like ideological things. He goes, if you're saying a politician has to be a Canadian politician,
Right.
and you goes, you can do the Canadian version of Ron Paul, and I was like,
There is.
me?
Yeah. There's no Canadian libertarians as far as I know.
Right, exactly. So the Ron Paul stuff does dry up pussies. And in Canada, though, we've been talking about podcast, deciding the election. The federal Liberals in Canada spent $2 million to produce podcasts. And I know we said a lot of backstory to get to that headline, but it was like, just to show you how these people work. And I'm sure this is happening in a lot of these campaigns. I mean, again,
really
we know
a drop
friends
in-
that are giving it. Here's $50,000 to make a video about Kamala Harris that every comment's going to be like, this sucks, you know?
Sucks. Yeah, I hate you.
I hate you. So they did $2,000.
$2 million.
$2 million
dollars
to produce a podcast, and by the Canadian government, they did 7 episodes or something
and
like
by
that.
the way, the craziest part is they're like, they're talking their own book here a bit, but they're like huge success.
Oh yeah, yeah,
They're
100 views.
They're like, this is money so well spent. Like they're writing this up, being like, man, look at us, huh? Spending only $2 million and getting these kind of numbers. Woo, baby!
The
Joe
entire
Rogan, watch out.
The entire series that they spent $2 million at has less views than one of our Patreon episodes.
400. They were bragging. This is a point of bragging. They go, this one, I think it was a Statistics Canada podcast that they do. They go, this is in the top 10% of all podcasts, right? So they're like, the money well spent gets 470 downloads an episode.
I think they're including their YouTube numbers too.
I don't know.
Which is another one. If you go to the Statistics Canada, they're pumping out content right and left, and all has 1 view on it.
Yeah, nothing. Did you actually find their YouTube channel?
Yeah, the A-sayers. So basically, the podcast is called the A-sayers, like Canadian.
Yeah.
So that, you're laughing at the name. You don't have any idea how many.
Here we go.
Do you know how many meetings they had to come up with that name?
Oh my God, this spent so much money.
I mean, the name alone was $100K.
Dude, one of them was how much was it for hosting? One of them was like their podcast spent like, dude, like hosting's free basically. Like you can get hosting for free. Like you can do like Anchor or whatever. It's basically free. One of them was literally they spent like $9,000 a year on just hosting one podcast. Oh, here's one. Here's one. Yeah. Here's
It's
one podcast.
so funny.
$9,087 for podcast training and consulting. This is the kind of shit that goes on here. They just hire someone. They go, yeah, we need a podcast consultant, and,
you go, how much?
And it's their friend.
And it's their friend who has a podcast. They go, how much? You go, I don't know, fucking
$5,000. I don't know,
$5,000 an hour.
No, they go $500 to go.
yeah. They look at you and they go,
Yeah, come on, keep going.
you call.
It's like a fucking game show. They go higher.
Yeah, you kind of call your buddy, and the guy's like, I don't know. Yeah, I'll do. What do you want to talk to me for like a couple hours? Like, I don't know, a few $100 is probably fine. And the guy goes, I don't think you understand what I'm giving you right now.
Yeah.
I'm giving you.
I mean, some of it came back. Okay, I promise you, some of that came back in the way of Leafs tickets. And,
Oh yeah. 1,000%. There's some fucking paybacks on that. Like, I'll give you the $10,000 to come in and talk about podcasts for 15. The guy got $10,000 to come in and tell them that people use SM58s. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Dude, $5,000 for voice actors. $18,000 for translation. Which
they probably hired like a person to come and make sure it was like not offensive. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah. Here was $3,000 for hosting services.
Well, the guy's getting fucking $1 million an hour. He comes in, he goes, "Is this thing on? Welcome to Ace Sears.
Welcome to
Being gay is good. Let's do a land acknowledgement." Among the most expensive podcast, Ace which was $800,000 for 20 episodes.
Pretty good deal. 28,700.
$800,000 to do 20. By the way, audio only.
Audio only. Yep. Yeah.
$800,000 for audio for 20
Dude, that shit must have
audio
sounded
only
like fucking
episodes.
butter though. $34,513 on the Healthy Canadians podcast for podcast strategy, editorial planning.
Okay,
and
I got to read you
training.
some from the Acers. This is the $800,000 podcast. This is what some of the episodes were. Are you ready for this? I'll tell you the best one first. This is the title of the episode. This episode, so if you break it down, this cost $70,000 to produce a minute long, 1 hour of audio.
Absolutely.
And the title is, I got 99 problems, but being misgendered on the census isn't one.
Oh, that's tough. This is what you get, by the way, for your $34,000 for podcast strategy. Is I'm on the Healthy Canadians podcast right now on YouTube. Has 12,000 subscribers. They get on average about 500 views on YouTube. Per
exactly.
episode.
How do you say language revitalization in Cree? So how to speak words in Cree Indian?
Sure.
A little less misinformation. A little less
A
misinformation.
little more action.
So it says a little less misinformation, a little more true facts, please.
Okay.
That's one of the episodes.
Sure.
Will the 400 millionth Canadian please stand up? So they're basically doing song titles in their thing.
Yep. I mean, hey, man, that's.
Do you think that one works? So you go, will the real Slim Shady please stand up? They've gone with, will the 400 million Canadian please stand up?
Please stand up. Yeah. So
In a movie about the economy, is inflation the bad guy? So that's the episodes that they had, and these were 60,000 a pop minimum.
Yeah, good money well spent. I mean,
Audio only.
Well, no, they have video on one of them, the Healthy Canadians podcast. which-
Oh fuck! If they got video halfway through, the budget must have went through the roof.
160 views on some of these. What do we got? 189 views, 192. 363 is the most I can see on one of their podcasts so far.
All right,
YouTube, so money well spent.
Money well spent. A couple of videos here. So this is when we were talking about the flip out. I've been having trouble decide, what's going to happen. This is the kind of stuff that started to come out. So this is if Trump wins.
Worst case scenario, Trump gets reelected. Here is the game plan if that happens. The general rule of thumb from now on is, will the MAGA heads use it to attack someone? If so, keep your mouth shut. You no longer know that any of your trans friends are trans. You no longer know that any of your non-Christian friends are non-Christian. You no longer know that any of your friends, family, or neighbors are left-leaning at all.
So
Yeah, this is like Handmaid's Tale shit. Like this guy just finished reading Handmaid's Tale and he goes, you no longer know if your friends are trans. You go, the chick in the dress with the 5 o'clock shadow? I gotta just be like, with the Adam's apple is like.
This sounds convenient.
Yeah.
He's sucking the dick. He was like, you do not know. You have no clue.
Hey, if anybody asks, I'm not gay.
You have no clue.
Yeah.
He goes, He says, anyone who's not Christian, your friend who's like, my friend Muhammad, he loves the church. Muhammad
Just got baptized last week.
yeah. So you don't tell anyone that anyone isn't
No.
Christian.
Yeah, they're going full Handmaid's Tale. On
Yeah,
that.
he's basically saying
This is the kind of
knocking on doors, being like, your neighbor trans, and you go,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
This is like kind of the histrionics we are going to have to deal with if Trump wins for the next 4 years. Like we just
good word. Look at you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Kind of showing off.
Yeah, kind of a sexist word though.
Histrionics.
Yeah. Yeah, because it refers to the uterus, and it's like.
I thought it was saying hysterical.
Yeah, the word hysterical
And
is
it's-
basically like a female-centered word.
Is that true?
Yeah, the etymology is literally like hysterectomy. It's like literally hysterical, and it's
That's pretty funny.
yeah, doctors. Yeah, it's just because women are so solid word.
So when you say you're being hysterical, that's
like a.
there's got to be 100 articles about how that was rooted.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's called revisionist history, but
Her story.
her story. But yeah, no, we're gonna have to be dealing with again.
Safety guides, if and instead of Trump, they just have a orange there for him. If Orange gets elected,
You don't know tries to talk about politics around you, you shut that shit down immediately because that is fishing for information and people they can report. Anyone tries to
so he says, fishing for. So you get the idea, but basically, yeah. If anyone says. Oh yeah, any politicians you support? You're like, nice try.
They're gonna be like, like when like the Jews were like kicked out of Spain and stuff, and then a lot of them were like, you can either get kicked out or you can convert to Christianity, and so a lot of them did convert to Christianity, but then they would like secretly practice Judaism. Like they would like go in their like closet, and they would like this would be like them, like in 2025 they go in their closet and they just like light a candle and nobody's around. They put their pink pussy hat on. Just be like, I can't take this from me. And then they get out and they just like a tear rolling down their face, put their MAGA hat on.
Yeah,
in Brooklyn.
Yeah,
we have to live now.
Yeah, you have to be walking around Brooklyn in your
in your MAGA hat.
MAGA hat with your big cross on.
Yeah, exactly. Just like all this stuff, but then in secret you're like pink pussy hat.
Yeah, it's like crazy, right?
These people are crazy. Yes.
Yet they are also fishing for people that they can report. Anyone you know who is an immigrant, you are now going to tell anyone who asks that they have been living in America their whole lives.
This is literally the fucking The Simpsons with Apu when he's with the citizenship. He goes, "Howdy, partner. The Nye Mets are my favorite squadron." It's like a dude with a thick accent. I've been living in America my whole life. I'm born in Queens, New York. Pretty thick accent.
Honest to God.
This is what they believe.
Oh, you've been you've been a
American citizen.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, that's definitely hysterical. Where you're just like,
Yeah. But they believe.
okay, but you're like, well, why last time he was when he was the president before? Why did
He goes,
have
I
to do all
was
that?"
doing this last time too. I did this last
And
time. It was hell.
and I didn't have to do it for 4 years.
Yeah,
now I
I
have
had
to do
4
it
years
again.
off, and now I'm back to this.
Yeah. So, by the way, I don't know if you've seen, but Joe Biden lately, he kind of rules now.
Yeah.
Like Joe Biden's kind of like has a bit of a different don't give a fuck. He had a baby, and he was like out there with a baby. He's just like sucking on the baby's toes. Dude, it's so funny. He takes a bite off the baby's
you're a
head.
freak,
He's just, Joe Biden's literally like, oh yeah, you thought I was weird before? Like, I'll do whatever I want. He's just saying what he wants. Seems like he's honestly having fun for the first time in a
Yeah,
while.
he's having some fun, and yeah, he's just the shackles are off,
Yeah, he's like kind of hilarious now.
Yeah. I mean, he's kind of probably pretty mad.
I think he has to be a
Because in his
little bit
mind,
pissed off about the whole
he
thing.
probably is not really accepting the fact that he's cognitively like declining enough to not be the president. He's just like, I can still do this shit.
Yeah, he's kind of like, I actually did a good job and I got replaced. He probably
and
thinks
he's
that.
like, sure, I got some bad days, but who doesn't?
Yeah, he's like my brain. I think his take on it is like my brain's perfectly fine. Yes, physically I'm old.
Physically, I'm old. Yeah, and he goes, "Hey, I could still do this." But yeah, I mean, I'd be bummed if I was him too. It hasn't happened in any time recently where something like the incumbent just gets the fucking bloodless coup on him and just gets the boot. So yeah, I'd be bummed too.
Cuban, according to inside sources,
According to
says.
Although
that,
you know what, I called bullshit on this, but then I haven't heard.
I said that too. I kind of call. I said,
but I'm saying because it was from this account that is like the misinformation fucking factory on Twitter. So
Okay.
but I haven't heard one peep from Cuban. So
well, basically
Cuban's like radio silence since this came out. So it might.
the story said that the Kamala Harris campaign reached out to Mark Cuban and they're like, "Can you stop doing interviews? It's not helping."
Yeah, it's not helping.
And the big part is he goes, Trump's. You never see Trump around brilliant women,
Right.
And I thought because people were mad, they're like, "Oh, what? So Trump doesn't have a brilliant women? What about this woman? It's sexist or whatever." I thought if Cuban was actually cool, he'd be like, "I want to clarify my comments." I know a lot of people said that they were mad that I said that Trump's not around any brilliant women. What you're missing is I don't think it's possible for a woman to be brilliant.
Sure. Yeah,
So
yeah.
obviously, if I have that framework, you know what I mean?
Yeah. That would have been the smart move.
It was actually a trick question. There's no such thing as a strong, brilliant woman, He didn't say that. He kind of apologized for it or whatever, and everyone, didn't like it. But then the beat on the street was that the Kamala Harris campaign told him to stop.
sidelined him.
Because he kind of was the number one campaigner, right?
Yeah. He was going on fucking everything.
But he's also a private citizen, so if they tell him to do that, he could be like, well, I'm not listening. But then at the same time, if you're going to campaign for them and then get all your benefits after she wins, you're not going to get your benefits if you don't listen to them.
Yeah, for sure. You're doing similar to what Elon Musk is doing.
He's doing the same. He's
you're
doing
betting on a horse, and you're saying like, hey, like this is going to pay out for me if I.
Yeah, and if the horse tells you to shut up. So you're saying, because when I saw that, I was like, well, what's the proof and why does this person have some inside source? But then when you're saying that he
I just haven't seen him do any like public interviews really since that came out.
Has he been talking on Twitter?
Oh no, it says he has. Yeah, he's been talking. He's still talking about the election. He had a thing in Atlanta yesterday, so maybe this is bullshit. I don't know. He hasn't been. I definitely haven't been seeing like the clips of him like I was seeing like literally a week ago.
Well, they're big, and okay, so that was just kind of funny. That if that did happen, it's just kind of funny.
Yeah.
But then. So it's like a couple days before the thing is when they start trying to have their big drops. What do they say? The October surprise?
October surprise, yeah.
There hasn't really been any enormous ones, right?
There hasn't been a huge October surprise, no.
Like the old one was supposed to be Joe Biden, or was
The
it Hunter Biden laptop? That was supposed to be like the big one.
That was the October surprise. And then the October surprise in 2016 was... what was it? Was all the Hillary Clinton's emails? That was the big one.
Okay, so they always seem to have something, right? Right now, it felt like one of the ones that was supposed to be like a big drop was the Trump's Epstein logs.
Yeah.
So Epstein, basically, there's this guy who's written all these Trump books.
Yeah.
And then he claims...
It seems like bullshit.
Well, he claims to have like an inside source to Epstein, but like I didn't listen to the things. The things don't really say it, but he basically says he knows Epstein or something like that.
He's basically saying Epstein was and Trump were like really good friends.
I know what he's saying, but how does his take on how he has this information is what I'm asking.
Inside source or whatever, but it's
all like unnamed inside source. He says there's tapes.
There's tapes, and he released one audio thing, which are like, look, if there are all these tapes, just release them all. But he has a book that he's selling, so he's not doing that. But like, he has one audio recording of Epstein basically talking some like about
saying
Trump's
we and Trump were boys,
but about Trump's cabinet. But then you listen to it and you're like, this was at the time like whatever he was saying was fairly just like, it'd be like two just people talking about politics, like from what they hear on the news. Like there's no like nothing that you hear in this. I listened to the recording, like nothing you hear in it is like, oh, this crazy inside scoops. It was just like, yeah, you could just be watching Fox and MSNBC and CNN and just have these takes. And you're like, if you have some real damning shit, then, and then some people are like,
what would be really damning
Trump
if they had
was
like a
the
picture of like the bed in Epstein's Island,
Yeah.
and then you see like some orange on the like there's some like orange stains on the fucking wall.
yeah.
On the sex, there's like orange stains on the sex swing.
Well, and then there's like Trump. They're saying Trump was the Epstein whistleblower and stuff. But he's like, there's all these photos of Trump with like all these like nude underage girls on his lap, and you're just like, just release them.
Yeah, but what are we waiting for?
Yeah, what are you waiting?
People are already voting and stuff.
I know. It's just like, obviously, if this is true, just like release them then.
And this, what is he saying?
He's like, oh,
you gotta
yeah, you gotta sign for the Substack if you want to see that shit, and then I'll maybe release them. And you're like, fuck off.
It is sort of a weird thing though, because it's one of those things where he's like, I have these pictures of underage girls in Trump, and you're like, you have pictures of underage girls naked, and he's kind of like,
It's evidence though. It's not.
but you can't have pictures of underage girls, right?
No. Well,
You'd have to get those, but you wouldn't have to turn those in.
Yeah,
so they'd have to be like public anyway, right?
Well, not if they're like part of an investigation or something. I don't know. It is crazy though. Like if Trump loses, he's just like probably going to jail.
You think so?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No.
I don't know. I mean,
that's a prediction I'm confident in, that man is not.
Maybe not probably. Maybe probably, but I mean, it's not a zero chance.
Do you think that? What do you think's more likely, that Trump boned girls on Epstein's Island, or that Hawkins boned girls on Epstein's Island?
Ooh, that's a good question. You'd have to think Trump, maybe. Just because he's like a notorious pussy hound.
Wasn't Hawking a notorious pussy hound a bit, though, too?
Was he?
He was cheating on his wife and stuff.
Yeah, he's cheating on his wife, but I don't know how much pussy.
Maybe not as notorious.
How much pussy can you get just in the fucking when you're sending texts through a straw?
He was swimming in it, man. My man. Jamie Dimon says that you're a problem. I shouldn't keep you. And I spoke to financer Carl Icahn. Carl thinks I need a new spokesperson. He tells 10 people that Bannon's a scumbag. Precipice is not doing his job. Kanye has a big mouth. So this is a lot of his stuff. Is he goes Trump. A lot of this guy's investigation is basically...
And he's also like, I've seen left-wing journalists being like, yo, this guy's like notoriously like lies, and he's always he's trying to sell something. Like, I mean, you got to look at the timing of it.
I thought there was this part was a little bit funny, because basically he was kind of saying that Trump's whole thing... sorry, I should have said this, but this is Epstein. He's saying Epstein's saying this about Trump in the video, but basically he's saying that Trump goes to... He likes to play his employees off people, so it'd be like the equivalent of me going up to people and being like, yo, Danny says I shouldn't have you on the Boyscast. He says Trump does a lot of that.
And you're like, yeah, you could glean that from watching The Apprentice.
Yeah, it seems like that's how he operates.
Yeah. You're like, yeah, that was like...
This guy says you're the worst employee here. Explain why you're not. The guy's like, why are you throwing me under the bus? You know?
Yeah, but you're like, yeah, he did that on The Apprentice.
Sounds like he does throw people... He likes to throw people under the bus, but I don't know what that has to do with whether he...
Look, if you have the damning evidence, just release it.
And he goes, they bet on people... Him and Trump had a bet of who could sleep with Princess Diana first. That's what he says.
Okay. Evidence of this?
Yeah, I mean... It's funny to me. I mean, I don't think it's outrageous to be like Trump was palling around with Epstein and they were banging girls. I mean, that seems probably
possible.
Like almost maybe even probable.
They were like, two of the richest guys in New York City, and they ran in similar circles. They definitely were. I mean, there's photos of them together. So
yeah.
Like, obviously, they knew each other. There's no question about that.
Like, if you look at, like,
he's saying way crazier shit than...
Like, in the band scene, if you were, like... Or if you take the comedy scene, or if you take any, like, scene where you have successful dudes, and you were just, like... You know, those guys were in that scene, and they were all, like, in their 20s and whatever. You're just, like... The chance of like two of those guys not being like Eskimo brothers is like low, because there's the same hose hanging around.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you're like if you like, it's very likely if you're like, okay, this group and that group, you're like, do you know that guy? And you're like, the chance of him like, oh yeah, they actually like banged a girl together is like not zero.
Not zero. No, absolutely not. But yeah, this I'm not.
I guess the question is like, what when they say people go to Epstein's Island, the question is like, did you have sex with an underage girl, prostitutes? Is that the idea?
Yeah, of course. Like, well, and just underage, period. It's just that's the nail, would be, you would think, nail in the coffin. But again,
the probability is not zero.
Just post a photo of
the probability is not zero, but if you want to have a kill shot, you probably need better evidence if you're going to kill shot him.
This one audio recording.
This guy's probably going to move units of this book, though, eh?
Yeah, for sure. That seems to be the point here.
Well, this stuff, it was kind of making me laugh thinking of Trump on Epstein's Island. Like, if he does come
he probably was trashing it because what a shitty island.
Yeah, he goes, no, he had the girls there. I found the girls ugly. I had to bring in my own girls there. You know, I brought in a bunch of models, perfect 10s, 25.
Totally legal.
Yeah, totally legal. The most legal. They were actually the most legal. They're almost dead. They were so legal. Fellas, the first thing that I do when I wake up every single morning is AG1. I do not think I've missed a day. It's replaced a lot of inconvenience of other things that I used to do. The first thing I do when I get up in the morning, grab the bag, take a scoop, I make my AG1, drink it and then I'm off the day.
Yeah,
If you're
do it with coffee.
You do
Pair
it,
'em
yeah.
up.
While you're brewing it, because as the days go on, as you get older, as things get busy in your life, you don't want to be worrying about all these different things. You want to know that you're getting your prebiotics, you're getting your probiotics, you're getting it all in one place in a simple way that you're not going to forget to do because it becomes part of your routine. I think the first time I heard about AG1 was probably Tim Ferriss, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
I know Ricky Gervais was talking about that. There's lots of big podcasters that have been telling you about AG1, and in private, I've already talked to. There's lots of people in my life that have that. I'll be like at someone else's house filming, and I'll see the AG1 there. So it's the best kept non-secret right now, because if you haven't switched over to it, it does solve a lot of problems. I was talking to Jarek. He said he does it. So with the added benefits of probiotics, prebiotics, adaptogens, AG1 can help you combat the stress of the holiday schedule while helping your digestion and supporting energy. So it is important for your personal gut health. And me, obviously, that's one of the things that I'm always concerned about, making sure that my gut health is in a good situation, because it has so many implications for the rest of your health. If you want to recover quicker from workouts, you want to have just a boost in energy in general, or maybe feel like you need less coffee, because sometimes people later in the days feel like instead of just having that one in the morning, you feel like you want to have a couple every day to keep you boosted.
Sure.
And that's all a function of just kind of not in general having enough nutrients a lot of times. So I bring my AG1 travel packs with me when I'm traveling, especially around the holidays. You're going to be eating, you're going to be out with friends. It's very easy to get off your schedule. So one part of your schedule that you can make sure that you can keep is AG1 every single morning. So this holiday season, try AG1 for yourself, or even gift it to someone special. And honestly, I could say that right now for me, if I was to be given AG1, that would probably be a good gift. And most people very many people are hard to get something for, whether it's a dad, whether it's a brother, whether it's a spouse, whatever it is.
Anybody.
AG1's a great gift. It's the perfect time, and it's a gift that they'll be seeing every single morning and remembering that you got for them.
It makes them feel good.
It's the perfect time to focus on supporting your body with an easy and surprising delicious daily health drink. And that's why we've been partnering with AG1 for so long. So every week in November, AG1 will be running a special Black Friday offer for a free gift with your first subscription, in addition to the welcome kit with vitamin D3 plus K2. To make sure to check out drinkag1.com/boyscast to see what gift you can get this week. That is drinkag1.com/boyscast to start the holiday season off with a healthier note while supplies last. So I don't know. I guess that was supposed to be a kill shot. And then the last thing, well, not the last thing, but there was a couple more funny ones. Usha Vance, so JD Vance did a Joe Rogan, and then basically they've written a whole bunch of articles being like, how could this brown woman be down with this?
Yes.
And then they basically drew they go, Usha Vance isn't that complicated. And then they did their conclusion they drew is they're like, I guess she's just submissive and he like owns her.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they're like, there's no other scenario where like a brown woman
would tolerate this kind of thing. There's no based brown women.
It was fun. And I kind of felt the same about both these guys, but like, I always kind of support the tech guys, because I kind of think that I like the way that they think about problems. Even if I don't agree with them.
The idea of Elon Musk, like with his tech brain, trying to like start fucking dicking around with the government. And
well, even Mark Cuban, when he like talks about stuff, like it's even sometimes if I disagree with him, I'm like, he's talking about it in a framework that like is in the realm of the world.
Yeah.
Where some people talk about things, you're just like, this is college kid mumbo jumbo. Mark Cuban at least like tries to put together a theory. It's like a lot of times you're like, I think you're stretching there to like, when you talk about like DEI and stuff like that, like you're at least operating in the real world, but you're like, I think you're stretching sometimes.
Yeah.
So I like it better the way the tech guys talk about it. But JD Vance, when he did Rogan, everyone was calling him weird or whatever. And then obviously you're kind of watch the thing and you're like,
It's pretty normal.
I think we were probably right. This guy isn't weird.
Yeah.
But I will say on the other side of it, you go, Tim Walz isn't that weird either. It was just like he gets bullied into a bad situation because he probably is like, if you knew him in real life, like sort of a normal guy, but he has to go out there and like, he has to be like, I'm the party that like hates men and I'm going to try to go and be the ambassador to men. So it's like your only options are like corny and weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And he kind of people like, I'm a football coach, and then you're like,
you're bullied into a
doesn't seem like he knows anything about football.
If he was like your neighbor, you probably would be actually. You'd be like, that guy's all right,
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. He's just a bit of a dweeb.
Tim Walz appears to call Elon Musk a gay guy.
I mean, I listened to the clip. He did call him a gay guy.
Okay, listen to this fucking Tucker Carlson thing. I'm gonna pull this up right now. Where is this? Did you see it?
Did I see the word? I don't know. I've seen a lot of Tucker Carlson clips.
Okay,
To
so
be more specific.
he basically. Oh, I had the article here. Well, maybe I don't have the article. I'll just play the clip.
Play the clip. Play the clip, Jamie.
Play. Okay, fine. Hold on. Fuck it. Okay. This is what he says.
Do you think in a spiritual attack by a demon?
Yeah, by a demon.
Tucker
Or by
Carlson.
something unseen that left
Is that right?
claw marks on my
Oh, yeah.
sides. On my.
So they left physical mark.
Oh, they're still there. Yeah. Year and a half ago.
Was your
He said what? Yeah, he says that he was sleeping. He goes,
demon
the guy goes,
scratched
do you
him in
think that
sleep?
all the bad that's in the world, it's making people more religious? And he goes, well, that's what happened to me. I was attacked by a demon. And he goes, a year and a half ago, I was sleeping, and then a demon came into my bed and then started attacking me. I woke up, and you're like, oh, I guess that's a bad dream. But then I was covered in claw marks, and I went to the bathroom, and it was covered in these claw marks, and my wife was there, and I had to, wipe all the stuff. And I called my friend who's religious, and I'm like, I had this dream of this demon, but then I'm full of these claw marks. And they're like, yeah, demons will attack you in your sleep. That happens.
Yeah, pretty good way to get in caught cheating. That's usually what happens when you get caught cheating. You go full religious. You go this. I mean, it's not a total lie. I did get attacked by a demon.
That's so fucking funny. His
goes,
wife's like, why are these claw marks?
He goes, it
on
was
your
a demon in my sleep, and I'm religious now. I mean, as far as getting out of getting caught cheating, that's
That's right.
a good one. That's a good one.
It does feel exactly like that. Obviously, first thing you do when you do anything, I come to my beautiful, loving, and trusting wife, and then my
Yeah, of course. You go, I have this demon. Look at this demon. These scratch marks all over my back.
we used to make that joke when we were fucking like 25. We used to make that joke that you go to the Raptors, and then with the Raptors, after the Raptors win, so part of the celebration, we all scratch each other with the claws.
That's why I wasn't picking up my phone all night. And
We're too busy doing the Raptors celebration. So then you make sure everyone every time everyone's together, you scratch your buddy's
scratch
back to be like,
everybody,
I'm doing my thing that I always do.
fucking love the Raptors.
And you come home and it's like, oh, I guess the Raptors won again.
Yeah,
You're like,
yeah.
these guys are on fire right now.
They're just absolutely on fire.
But yeah, it does. Like that seems like the Occam's razor of what's going on here, right?
Uh-huh.
You go, I had claw marks all over my back, and and it was actually bleeding.
Yeah.
And then you go, demon in my sleep.
Demon in my sleep. So we're religious now, honey.
It really does feel like you go, if Tucker Carlson saying this, it's like, it sounds like this is not a conversation for me. Like, whatever you got to tell her.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, he's making a whole video about it, so he's obviously going hard on this whole demon thing.
Well, yeah, because his wife would be like, why did you never bring that demon thing up since you talk about this stuff all the time? And he's like, I was actually doing an interview about the demon thing tomorrow.
Shooting a gun. I thought I saw the demon. I tried to shoot it, but it wasn't there. But
100%. That's what it feels like, though, right?
yeah, it does feel like that.
Was your wife terrified? I know you
I
were.
wasn't. I was totally confused. I woke up and I couldn't breathe, and I thought I was going to suffocate. And I walked around outside, and then I walked in, and my wife and dogs had not woken up, and they're very light sleepers. And then I had these terrible pains on my rib cage and on my shoulder.
Rib cage.
Just in my boxer shorts, and I went and flipped on the light in the bathroom, and I had 4 claw marks on either side underneath my arms and on my left shoulder. And they're bleeding.
Wait, they were bleeding.
Just think about that. So you're telling me where you have them
Correct.
is right here
Correct.
and right here.
Tucker, shut up. I mean, whatever you got to do to get yourself out of a jam, you know?
I know, we're just sort of not being bros right now.
We're not being bros, but
There's some guy right now there's some guy watching that being like, fuck the demon thing. That's good.
oh, that's so good.
And then there's other guys being like, telling their wife, they go, why do you have claws? And you go, I need you to watch this video. It's going around.
Yeah, it's going around. There's demons everywhere.
It's like a South Park episode
It
where
is,
all
honestly. He goes,
all
these goddamn demons.
all the dads are like, there's an epidemic
Yeah,
of demons
demons.
scratching right on the rib cage
Yeah,
and your
right.
shoulder.
While you're sleeping and you just wake up and you go, oh, I got these demons. Also happens to be coinciding with a weekend trip in Vegas Right when you get back.
Yeah. The demons hate when you go to Vegas. I guess the demons hated that I was gambling.
Yeah, the demons hate when I go to Vegas with the boys for a weekend. They do not like that. So anti.
And she's like, well, I thought that you shouldn't have gone on that 7-day trip. He goes, well, I guess you and the demons agree then,
The
because
demons agree. Well, we're Christian now. Never again. Never again.
well, we're gonna fight off we're Christian now, so the demons aren't gonna be able to get us.
yeah. Sorry, Tuck.
Sorry, Tuck.
They're bleeding, yeah. No actual claw marks. And I sleep on my side, so I wasn't clawing myself.
That's a tough one. so I wasn't clawing myself.
Yeah, I couldn't have been clawing myself.
Fuck, dude. This is tough,
It's tough, yeah.
Talk.
I don't have long nails.
Man.
And they didn't.
He goes,
fit
I
my
don't have long
hands anyway.
nails.
But yeah, that happened. So I'm not from a world where things like that happen. I never heard of anything like that happening before.
I've never heard of anything like that happening before.
I knew it was spiritual immediately.
You did. Okay, that was going to be my question.
He goes, I knew it was a demon immediately.
I don't understand to this day. I'm not going to put it.
You didn't try to refute the spiritual part in your own mind. You went right into the.
Well, it didn't make any sense, and it doesn't now.
Doesn't make any sense.
So, but I'm not from a, what do they call it, faith tradition that talks about things like that or even acknowledges their existence. Like, there's nothing like that. I've never heard anybody say anything like that in my whole life.
What was the next?
There's
day
no precedent, but it is true.
The next morning I woke up and I thought, that was the weirdest dream I've ever had. And then I saw blood on my sheets and I realized that was not a dream at all. I called my assistant, who was like the only evangelical Christian I know.
This is where he says that.
Well enough to call with something bizarre like that, totally bizarre like that. And she said, oh yeah, no, that happens. Yeah, people are attacked in their bed by demons.
Thank you, assistant. Bros.
I called my
Female assistant, and she confirmed.
No, the female assistant gave him the number for this evangelical Christian, who is an evangelical Christian / pickup artist / red pill content creator.
Yep.
And he goes, Tuck, of course, yeah. What do you need me to sign off on it? It happens all the time.
All the time. It happens all
That's
the time.
Tucker going back to his house, bringing the evangelical Christian. He goes, I brought him. The guy's wearing the hat, the whole thing. You know
Russell
what I mean?
Brand's like, fuck, wish I thought of that one. That's
Oh,
a good
sure.
one right there. Demons.
So we kind of blew up his spot, which I feel bad about.
Sorry,
But
Tuck.
Sorry, Tuck.
Call him like I see him. What can I say?
Okay, that's probably enough of that specific thing. The gay voters, they said gay voters are smitten for Kamala Harris because JD Vance said he thinks they get the normal gay guy vote.
Yeah.
Those ones are always funny because it's
a pretend.
I actually had a joke about that where someone goes, what's a gay accent? And you go, is your brain broken?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Now I have to do it? You know what I mean?
posted a video about it from the piss pool because people are like, Don Lemon did this thing. He goes,
I didn't see the video.
Oh, no. He's like, normal gay guys. He goes, what's a normal gay guy?
Yeah,
What does
you
that
have to
even mean?
flabbergasted?
And then I was like, probably the opposite of this. And then it was from the Folsom County Fair, and this guy's in a piss pool, and they're interviewing him in the Folsom Street piss pool. And he's just like, yeah, we just like to offer the piss pool for people who just like, literally the guy says, he goes, we just offer the piss pool because like sometimes there's like a long line for the porta potty, and we don't want people peeing in the street. So, you know, I just like make myself available so they can just come piss on me, and that way they're like not having to wait in line and for the porta potty. And you're like,
You go, so not this. Imagine watching that, and then you see like Peter Thiel doing an interview, and you're looking at the video of Peter Thiel, you're looking at the piss pool, you're looking at the video of Peter Thiel, you're looking at the piss pool. You go, I don't know. I just see two gay guys.
it's like a CAPTCHA. It's like, select the normal gay guy, and you go, I don't know. I guess I'm not gonna be able to use this website because I don't know. Piss pool, Peter Thiel. And it goes, I guess I could just
piss
guess.
pool, gimp mask, Peter Thiel.
It's like guys
piss
literally
pool.
gargling the piss of strangers in a kiddie pool on the streets of San Francisco, or Peter Thiel. You go, this CAPTCHAs are getting hard. Things are tough to decipher.
It's so funny. You have to look at it and be like, I literally,
I don't know.
we should do that video. That's a pretty good video. Like, you claim to know what a normal gay guy is, which was, and then the one guy getting asked, and the one guy getting asked is just like, honestly, both pretty normal. The other guy's like, that one.
Yeah.
The other guy's like, how did you even do that?
Some sort of savant. Jeez.
Normal gay guy. No,
I mean, the thing is, there are all these normal gay guys being like, yeah, we obviously know the difference. You just have to pretend.
It's funny, and then JJ being like, normal gay guy like me, you're like, well, no again.
No again. I guess it is a little harder than it's the easiest.
Yeah, there's a few that might throw you off. You're a wild card that might throw people off because they'd be like, oh yeah, you were an umpire. That sounds like normal gay guy. You, what the hell? Here's a look at JJ, what he was up to last weekend. Not a pervert, but
Not a pervert.
So on the topic of perverts, so Vice always gets goes under and then comes back.
Yep.
And it's always funny because
Can't be killed.
they always go under and then someone buys them for less than at one point they were getting bought for like hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Then they get bought for $300,000. Now someone's buying them for a bag of pucks.
Yeah, bag of bucks.
But they basically
They're back,
announced.
though.
Well, they announced that we got bought again. We're coming back. We have a plan, right?
Yep.
And then so I went to the site, and the first article on the site was, "I just went to my first ever Jesus-themed sex party."
Here we go.
Imagine your girl's like, "Oh, I'm a journalist." You go, "What are you working on?" You go, "Well, I go to the Jesus-themed sex party."
Hey, man.
What a website!
Better than fucking some of the journalism we cover.
Yeah. This is some pretty good slop.
Yeah.
You can write down your boundaries and desires at the BDSM station back there. So they have like a BDSM station. It's very regulated.
Yeah, for sure. This is organized.
But it's organized in like a very dorky way, which is kind of weird. It's funny. And
they're all dorks.
I don't know if you saw the pictures. There's some
Yeah.
bigger women on those.
Of course.
Yeah. There's one girl, there was like a picture of her on the bed. This girl is like 3 or 4 bills.
Oh, I thought that was the bed.
Got him.
Nobody's safe.
A flamboyant greeter tells us, so there's flamboyant greeters. I can read between the lines. As we step into the hall of the Vancouver mansion, the BDSM station turns out to be a corkboard notice. So they have a corkboard, like it's a lost and found situation, filled with handwritten notes in which attendees, like they figured out how to make a sex party, feel like a drama kid thing,
Yeah. It's like a workshop.
in which attendees of tonight's event outline what they'd like to get from the evening. One man would quite like to have his girlfriend watch him have sex with another woman. That's a pretty good one to come with the thing.
She goes, "What are you writing? What are you writing? What are you writing?" She goes, "Oh, just got to keep it secret." And he goes,
Yeah, he writes on the thing that I'd like her to watch me bang another chick.
She goes, "What the fuck? I thought we were just gonna watch together and not do any weird shit." He goes, "Oh,
What did you write? I'd like you to watch me bang another chick. What'd you write? I'd like you to watch me bang another guy. Another says he would like to be flogged.
hey."
We settle down into silence. A man dressed in white bangs a drum while chanting like a shaman. So it's exactly what you kind of expected these things. A bunch of dorks and then someone...
Yeah, I mean, this is a dorky thing in general.
I don't know how they managed to pull it off where they made like sex dorky somehow.
Well, because they're all like they're just like these modern, super like liberal.
Yeah, they're super, like women are in charge of it.
Exactly, the empowerment nonsense.
They tried to, that's the thing. They're trying to make it like empowering, right?
Yeah.
They start by thanking the indigenous elders. So they're doing a land acknowledgement.
The indigenous elders love that.
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, they go, "Thanks. Thanks for thanking us for your fucking piss pool."
That's so funny. They're thanking the indigenous elders.
Yeah.
You go, obviously this was on Wakakonda land.
Yeah,
and you
yeah.
go, yeah, and the Wakakondas probably wouldn't be happy with what you're doing with that land.
Yeah, you're defiling their land.
You're doing a piss pool on the Indian burial ground.
There's like literally they're doing their like little land acknowledgement thing over there, and then like fucking 500 kilometers away, there's just like some Indian on land smoking their like tobacco, and they go, "The evil spirits have." They're trying to tell me something right now. Something bad is happening on our land.
Exactly. The lady sitting cross-legged beside me, cross-legged as how you'd expect them to be sitting.
Yeah. You're sitting cross-legged.
No, you know what? Having your legs crossed is not sitting cross-legged.
Gotcha. Oh yeah, they're like in the.
Having your legs crossed is
it's a power move.
Well, I was gonna say it's almost more like, to me it feels like an old guy thing. I feel like that's like
I do like.
it's almost like sitting cross-legged. It's almost like an old guy thing in my opinion. Like you picture like a grandpa sitting cross-legged.
Yeah, that's true.
Don't you think? I don't know.
I sit cross-legged all the time.
It goes two ways because I understand people see a guy sitting cross-legged and they can go, that's a little bit of fancy boy shit.
I don't think that's fancy boy.
Well, but it could also be like you're like, oh, this guy thinks he's an intellectual. You know what I mean?
When you do the hand thing for sure.
No, the hand thing is you sit fucking man spread with your hands. Like the alpha power move, I don't think they cross their legs.
Oh, they match it up.
Yeah, you're like perfectly symmetrical. I think the like alpha male stance is more like you sit with your back perfectly straight, and then you have your hands, just your thumb and your pointer finger touching, and then you have your legs like spread wide to make a statement. And your legs are spread like a lesbian pretending to be a man. You know what I mean?
Yeah. These are just like they're sitting.
I think sitting cross-legged is more like how you'd expect maybe you picture like a university professor in a suit, like a tweed suit.
Yeah, with the patches on the elbows.
Has a book in his hand and maybe like a glass of wine, like a 60-year-old man, salt and pepper hair with wine and his legs crossed. But he's not gay. He's like a
he's just like a fancy boy.
He's trying to fuck that TA pussy, maybe.
I wouldn't expect a lot of cross-legged sitting at a orgy.
But you're.
I'm not talking about yours. I'm talking about what you were.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's funny. They're sitting on the ground, like they've turned it into like a summer camp vibe.
Yeah.
A what, Johnny?
Crisscross applesauce.
Crisscross applesauce. And then they say he's sitting cross-legged. That an Orthodox. You forget that this is Jesus themed, though. The whole thing is everyone's dressed like Jesus. I had an Orthodox Christian friend that considered coming, but when he learned about the performances,
he goes, "This is fucked up."
Are we doing it? You guys are doing a Jesus thing?
Yeah. Now do Muhammad.
Yeah, obviously, yeah. And our next week, are you doing your Muhammad themed orgy?
Just for inclusivity.
For inclusivity, we're doing a Muhammad themed orgy.
All right.
And then when you come, you go,
Yeah.
But when he learned of the performance's nature, it was a hard no. He was concerned about the sacrilegiousness. He was concerned there might be like a tad of sacrilegiousness at the Jesus-themed gay orgy.
To my religion. Fair.
Making a kind of fussing motion with her hands. From there, a panoply of activities. Look at that word.
Well, that's a good one.
Panoply of activities break out. The divine dungeon, from spanking, flogging, sensual electrocution, wax. A lot of people have ball gags on.
Oh, yeah.
Some are handcuffed. More filter up from the dungeon to the lover's room.
Just making my way around.
You are right, though. It is fucking the funniest part. This is on Indian land.
Yeah.
And they acknowledge the Indian land. Definitely, if you were like a dead Indian spirit watching over this, you'd probably be like, leave us out of this.
I actually saw, I was on Twitter and I was like, I came across someone, it was like some post about land acknowledgments, and then it was like some big post, and then someone who was like, yeah, I'm Indian in Canada, and they're like, we hate these. And then I like clicked on it to go further, and they're like, they all hate the land acknowledgments, actually. Like the natives in Canada, they hate this shit.
But is the reason they hate it because there's like, well, then give it back.
Yeah,
then.
they're like, this is like literal.
It's rubbing it in.
Yeah, it's like it's literal nonsense. They're like, what are you talking about? They're like, what? Like, we don't even like this.
I think there's some. I think there's some probably. You're talking about your average like
your
First
average.
Nation person in
average
Canada,
First
but I
Nation
think that there's
person.
probably a lot of them that are like. They went to college and they're like, oh, I'm half native. I'm going to make this my fucking jam.
No,
like,
I know, but I'm saying
it's like a racket for some people.
Yeah, it's like a racket for some people. And, you get to go to like an Edmonton Oilers game, and they like, if you're like some of the people, they honor you at the beginning. You get a fucking Connor McDavid jersey. Maybe you get to go meet him.
That's not bad.
Yeah. But then I'm saying like the regular ones who don't get to participate in these like fringe benefits.
You actually just kind of live on the reserve and you have a normal life.
Or you don't live on a reserve and you're just like, this is fucking stupid. Like, this is nonsense. It's like insulting.
Do they do that for any other things where they go, like would there ever be like a part of Ireland that Scotland took over and they go, we acknowledge that this is once Irish.
Although Biden did actually just
do Americans say like, this is at one point British occupied land?
I questioned whether like a lot of the Canada native stuff would come to America, because obviously like, they have some similar history and stuff. And Biden did just do a big apology to they have like their version of residential schools. And then he just did some whole apology. So we might have land acknowledgements in this country soon.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, people kind of laugh at them, but they don't realize in some countries the extent to which like, no, this is like baked into the pie now.
Oh, big time. Yeah. And
Like, I guarantee these podcasts the government
they
churned
start-
out all start with this mic was originally a mic.
this would have been a horn, but now it's a mic.
Yeah, but it is obvious. I mean, people have made that point, but it is the equivalent of like stealing. You steal from a guy and you go, this mic was actually originally Dan Johnson's, who was part native. I stole it from him.
And we just want to thank him for it. He goes, "Can I have it back?" You go, "No."
It's our mic now.
Yeah, it is our mic now.
But we can give you a consulting position for a lot of money.
Hey, that's something.
It's something. Just two quick things. So one, I don't have really anything more to say, but a lot of people sent this and I want to say the title. A Dubai blogger shares her millionaire husband's strict codes.
Oh.
And it's just funny. She basically has this TikTok channel getting popular, which I'm surprised the strict codes don't involve, you're not allowed to say this, but basically she goes, no guy friend. She has to do 2 hours of makeup every morning. Every day has to have her clothes matched.
2 hours?
Yeah, she has to get her hair and makeup done every morning by a professional.
Oh, okay. She's like, goes up like
I think she's like a 6 and this guy's souped her up to an 8, right?
Yeah.
A lot of those kind of Dubai people, there's a lot of that going on where they put on like an entire new face of makeup, right?
Yeah.
Which I think of some of these people are good at that, where they're just like, you want like a hot, obviously you're a rich guy, you could probably get a hot girl, and you're like, what's even easier than that is you just get a normal girl, and you're like, we make her look hot.
Yeah, we just fucking.
And she's actually has less. If you do that, they're less. Low
maintenance.
They're
Less
lower maintenance. They chat less. You're like, and honestly, the makeup. You've seen the makeup tutorials. They really know how to polish turds right now.
Oh yeah, they do. Oh yeah, some of them are.
Dude, some of these girls with the contouring and stuff, they make them look like a totally different person.
Completely different person. Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe that's what this guy's figured out. But it is funny. You'd think that you go, one of my rules is you can't have a social media account talking about my rules.
Yeah. You'd
I think it'd be Fight Club rules. First rules, you don't talk about the rules.
Don't talk about the rules. Yeah. Kind of defeats the point of all the rules.
Dude, it is funny. You know how the K-pop stars are like low-key the biggest thing in the world?
Yeah.
So these K-pop stars, it's interesting the way that they work in, I guess it's Korea mostly, right?
Korea,
The North Korea, I believe.
They have their own version.
Yeah, but they have these crazy things where they are supposed to pretend that they're all single.
Yeah.
And they're like pure, and they almost are like almost this weird like religious vibe to it, So one K-pop star, someone took a photo of him kissing a chick.
Yeah.
So these guys are like the stars of the biggest like One Direction style band in the world.
I think it was
and if they
similar,
ever kiss a
though.
chick, they're like,
Yeah. I think it was similar with like NSYNC and Backstreet Boys, where they're like, even if you have a girl though, like you have to make girls think you're like single.
yeah, that's the deal.
Yeah. So they're like, you can't have any.
He was banished from the band for a year because there was a photo of him kissing a girl amid the backlash over leaked photos showing him kissing a woman when he was a trainee. Behavior considered unacceptable by the fans. The fans flip out when some South Korean entertainment company behind the band tried to bring him back. The fans were still like pissed off, so they completely canceled this guy, and they're like, no way, he can't be in the band.
He can't come back.
Because these guys, the girls have to be able to like put the photos on the locker and think like, he's gonna be my boyfriend.
Yeah, he's gonna be my boyfriend. But they treat it like sports almost, where they're like, he just gets a 1-year suspension.
Yeah. It's funny,
and then
right?
like in a year, he's just like, okay, I'm back now.
And they were like, no, you're not.
And what did they replace him with a guy who just looks exactly like him, and then they just ditch that guy? And I mean, they all kind of.
Well,
Come on, that was low hanging fruit, guys. Come on, we're better than this on the Boyscast, but we're not. But
we're better than this. Well, I have one last one for Danny. That's a good news. Do you have orgasm burnout? What did New York Post? What to know after Nicole Kidman's climax confession on Baby Girl set. Nicole Kidman hit headlines earlier this week saying she doesn't want to orgasm anymore after filming steamy scenes for her upcoming erotic thriller. And doctors have confirmed that orgasm burnout is a very real thing. While frequent orgasms lead to a surge of pleasurable neurochemicals like dopamine and oxytocin, the body can experience a saturation point. So basically, if you're with a girl and she's not having orgasms, there's an argument to be made that you gave her so many.
Yeah, you just ruined them for her. Hey, I mean, I guess it's a chemical thing. It's like you can get accustomed to any drugs or whatever.
Yeah. So basically, they're kind of saying that any girl that's not having orgasms, it's like you used them all
Yeah,
up.
you used them all up. Hey, ladies, nobody said that there was an infinite amount of these things. So
And I didn't look into it, but I would assume the number that they're allowed to have total in their lives is around 8 to 10.
yeah, that's. I mean, I haven't.
You can use them all this month if you want, or we can spread them out through your
Also,
life.
is Nicole Kidman having orgasms during
I
her
didn't get
scenes?
that part of it. I didn't even. That's why I didn't comment on it because I was literally like, I don't really get.
Yeah,
I think that she was. I think the point that she's trying to make is she's relating the movie to real life and saying that.
Sure. Or she's like pretending to have orgasms, kind of.
I think she's saying she doesn't even want to pretend to have them anymore. She's burned out.
Neither does my wife.
You're burned out.
Yeah, I burned out, lady.
You've been burned out. You've had too many. Well, the meaning of what once felt euphoric now feels overwhelming or even underwhelming. It's the way's body of signaling overload. So the women's body tells you you've had
You've
enough.
had enough, lady. Enough with this young person shit.
You've had enough. Fucking chill out.
Yeah.
You don't need to. Once a year is plenty.
More than enough. More than enough.
Yeah, if anything, you're still. I mean,
you're not even supposed to have.
You're supposed to have one every couple of years. If you want one a year, that's fine. But it's going to be a couple of years. It's going to be a drought for a couple of years.
Hey, man, there's a reason God made women to not need orgasms. to have
Exactly.
kids, you know? It's just between you and the Lord.
Okay, so this has been the Boyscast. We had a problem on our Patreon where they weren't going to the RSS feeds for some people. Some people watch them on YouTube and they watch the video, so they didn't have that problem. But there was a bunch of people. We did get it figured out. Patreon changed a bunch of things and it fucked us. So then we had to go and change a bunch of things and re-upload. So they're it was only 2 weeks, but the 2 weeks episodes are re-uploaded now and they should be in the RSS feeds. And then if anyone else wants to go over to patreon.com/theboyscast, another episode this week, and then we will see you at the live stream, and then once again we will
You got a
release
prediction?
one of our interviews. Oh yeah, we're gonna do our predictions. Fuck, I don't know.
I mean, it's such a coin flip.
I feel like it's a coin flip. So if I was to give odds, I can't give a prediction. I can give odds.
Well, the odds are 50-50.
No, I don't think they are. I think they're 55-45.
55-45
Trump. That's what I think. Or 54, 46.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick Kamala.
You think Kamala's gonna win?
I think it's just by but there might be some malarkey and skullduggery.
You almost want to hope it's not by a hair. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
By a hair is going to be fucking mayhem.
I think there's going to be malarkey.
Or it might be funny.
But
Maybe
I
we
think
do
there'll
want
be
it to be
malarkey and skullduggery. So
what do you think it'll be more of?
I don't know if it'll be a fairer win, but
You think it's going to be more malarkey or more skullduggery?
more skullduggery with a side of malarkey.
So you think she's edging him out right now?
I honestly
Or
think,
you're saying you're like, I don't know what's going to happen, but I think at the end of this.
I'll give you my quick breakdown of actually why I think this. So they're doing so much shit. Like the Trump campaign now, they're now saying like they have RFK on. RFK's like, we're gonna ban.
You think they're doing too much?
He wants to ban pharmaceutical ads on television.
I know, I saw
right?
that.
You go, that's where all the money comes from for all these fucking news organizations.
Yeah, good
You're
luck.
getting so many people being your
You think they're
mortal
picking too many battles?
You're making people being like, yo, my fucking like the people who are of so much power are like, yo, you're like fucking with our money right now. Like, dude, if CNN can't air pharmaceutical ads, there's like, you just took away half the revenue.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
maybe
all
more.
these or whatever, like all these places, you're making these huge enemies. So I'm just thinking more like you're
saying there's a lot of
You're getting the machine
skull
to
and bones type of people that are just like, no.
you're like, you're really getting, and you go, oh, you're going to cut $2 trillion from the budget. You're like, yeah, no.
You think there's too many really rich people that are just like,
Yeah, I think there's too much like
shadowy figures.
Kamala Harris is just like status
fights with too many shadowy
status
figures?
quo. Let's keep it going, and they're just like, yo, we're gonna shake shit up so much, and people are just like, yeah,
And the shake is not going to be going in your favor.
no. And I think those people are gonna pull out every stop to make sure that cannot happen because it's in their interest. So
That's a good prediction.
Yeah.
I
plus
your reasoning's okay.
women be shopping.
Women be shopping.
Yeah, and women don't like being told what to do.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I can't do a prediction. It's like I can't do it.
Yeah. I mean, again,
'Cause don't
I
have
understand.
one.
I'm gonna.
If I had one, I would make one. I don't really have one.
Yeah. I mean, again, this is so close to call, and obviously, I hope I'm wrong, but
Yeah.
yeah.
You think it'd be funnier to watch what happens? Like, you watch Elon do
I
his
mean,
shit?
I would love to see just like go give Elon a crack at just fucking
It would be okay to see once in your lifetime a guy like Elon Musk have a
exactly.
crack at this fucking.
crack it just to see how this works. Like,
If he can't do it, you go, no one can.
Exactly, and probably my main thing is I want to see him do to the government what he did to Twitter, which is just like fire 2/3 of everybody and see how it runs.
Yeah, imagine fucking 2/3 of the government just get fired.
Yeah, and like RFK's like getting fluoride out of the water. That's like day one, no fluoride in the water.
You're not allowed to get welfare unless you step on a scale first.
I mean, it'll be the Trump will be by far the funnier candidate.
It'll be like such
funnier
a shit
scenario.
show for
yeah. So, but if she wins, it'll just be status quo. Keep going
back to normal. Yeah, exactly what it's been now.
Just everything, just the whole deal. Nothing changes.
Do you think that Elon Musk will be able to pull any of that stuff off?
I don't know, but that's what I want to see. That is really
because it is true. You go. Probably if it was possible, he can do it more than other people,
absolutely,
right?
And I want to see him try, but I have to think that the powers that be who are kind of behind the scenes are like, yeah, we're not doing that. Fuck no. We're not getting rid of pharmaceutical ads. We're not getting rid of all these departments. Like, we're not cutting back. So that's the only reason why I think that
this deficit is going to keep going up, and you're going to fucking love it.
We're not fucking tightening the purse strings. Fuck that shit. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, anyways, that's my thoughts. But we'll see.
Okay, we'll see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tuesday night. We'll see.
Patreon.com/theboyscast. We'll see you Tuesday night.
Tuesday night.